Today is October 21st, and I haven't done a video in a long time. Up there on the window box, I'm growing arugula and some other microgreens, about mostly mustard. There's where I dug up my sweet potatoes. I have not yet replanted in there. I'm kind of leaving it. I'm hoping that the stupid squirrel will use that to dig in instead of every place else. I have not yet killed off this zucchini or this bean. These were over here. I have since gotten some concrete blocks to put underneath to raise them up a little bit. And what I haven't shown yet, I don't think, is that I've started naming my 18-gallon totes for friends of mine, or naming them things that friends of mine suggested, because I think it will help me in future to remember what I put where. So here's Sarah M, and in here I have cauliflower, purple of Sicily. I have my walking onions, some more walking onions. This is a geranium cutting. I'm hoping it will survive. And this is a lettuce called Wildfire. A lot of the new plants you see are going to be ones that I bought at the nursery on my birthday, September 28th. Here's the pepper plant that will not die, and geranium. This used to be over on the other side of, around that corner, but it's here now. We've got some more walking onions, and this kale grew up from probably just a piece of root. I'm learning that here my brassicas like to grow from the roots if I don't dig the roots up. I am still getting beans from this bush bean, and I have two other small ones growing. I've got one little bean hanging there, not quite ready yet. Geranium, red vein sorrel, and walking onions, those haven't changed any. I've noticed that my compost bin is now leaking from the sides, and so I'm losing that wonderful liquid. So I will be changing that probably this weekend if I can find the time to do it. We had a good rain this weekend, and I'm realizing that a lot of my things just weren't getting enough water. My skeleton rose geranium is doing awesome. I love the scent of it. And then just the walking onions that have been there for a while. That's my baby flower kufia plant, lavender lace I think it's called. I finally pulled up the old dill, but I planted a few more seeds in here since it's marked. I got a couple of San Marzanos ripening. Got a couple more on the windowsill. And my yellow pear tomato is making a comeback in a lot of ways. And this is the volunteer tomato that came up in the box. I don't know how good those tomatoes are. I tried one last week and it was kind of sour. So I don't know if it's just the way that hybridized or what. Celery hasn't died yet. I desperately need to freshen up this lavender tote. This one is Yo Mama. And it's not like a bad Yo Mama. It's Yo Mama. Oh, did I mention? Oh no, this one hasn't been named yet. So that one's still got a space for a name. Here's Barb. Right now all Barb has is walking onions and some dinosaur kale, black magic, that's still trying to come up. Winifred, you know who you are who named Winifred. This was the first tote I named, and it has my lemongrass, which was over in this general area. It's got some lettuce. It's called deer tongue. That one right there is called deer tongue. This is some French sorrel. This big plant here is lemon verbena. And then I have my walking onions, and I tried with that geranium. I don't know if I got the roots too wet or what. Yeah, I'm pinning this together again. The squirrel is digging actively. That's how I know autumn is here. Well, that and the fact that we had a big rain a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep them off. And you'll see the water, it's not from dew. I went through and misted most of my plants. just used a mister, and then I watered where it needed more water. Here's my strawberries. They're doing okay. They're not doing great. They're not doing horribly. I think the squirrel's gotten into them a little bit, but not too badly. All right, I'm going to come back over here. I've got Carrie. That one I didn't write very well because it was way down there. And I'm not going to use these metal things anymore on the soft ground. I'm only going to use them where there's concrete. I've got some more blocks here. There's my friend Deban. Got that one named. This is called a honey nut, butternut squash. It's actually supposed to be like almost twice this size, but that's as big as it got this year. I don't think it just wasn't warm enough at night. Here's one of my mini cantaloupes. It's still trying to ripen. I don't know if it will because the plant looks pretty much dead. I got one cucumber off this Japanese cucumber. Let's see. The zucchini has not died, but neither is it producing. I've got my purple tree collard here. More peppers that never created fruit. Lemon verbena, lemon thyme, walking onions. This is a Korean melon. It's a really small melon. I've got this here because of the squirrels. They dug it up completely. I thought it was going to die like that one did. You'll see there's one there that died. I thought this one would die, but it's still alive, so I'm hopeful. That's one of my broccoli seedlings that I bought. This is where I'm making compost tea. I've got a bunch of leaves soaking in there. This is my largest melon. And it is a miniature watermelon. I think this is as big as it's going to get. From what I understand, and don't quote me on this, but this tendril here, now that it's brown, supposedly that means the watermelon can be picked at any time. I'm going to give it a little bit longer before I pick it. But here's a different, this watermelon is from that vine. This one has created this watermelon. I don't know if it's going to grow, but I've got flowers still, so I don't know what the deal is. I may just say goodbye to my chocolate mint, or I may wait and take, you'll see there's like a couple of places really low where it's trying to come back, and I may take some of those and take them in the house for the winter and see what happens. My walking onions, another red vein sorrel. My peppermint's doing pretty well. I planted the last of my winter squash mix seeds there, and only one of them came up. They're from back in 2022, I think, so they're older. Don't know if my okra is going to make it. It might not be hot enough for the rest of the year. Here's my bean. I've got one bean hanging off of that one. I might get it. I moved what was in that pot right there. Okay, over here, I've got Goblet, named after a bearded dragon lizard. This is just my used coffee grounds. I've got walking onions and I'm pretty sure that one's a black magic kale. I was trying to propagate the Wandering Jew, but I don't know how that's going to work. Here's some garlic chives I bought. This cucumber is pretty much done, but I don't know. I've got new leaves down here, so I don't know what its deal is. It's the I can tell you that's totally impacted down there. The soil. I didn't put enough of something in it, and it's just all stuck. My walking onions. This is more lacinato kale trying to grow from the root. And I'm pretty sure all these little tiny seedlings are celery because this is the location where my big celery went to seed. This is my new lemon thyme, wildfire lettuce, a bok choy called Rosie. Is this one? More deer tongue lettuce, my walking onions. And this is something called an agostiki and heat wave. It's a red one, and it makes those trumpet-shaped flowers, which are great for hummingbirds. This one seems to be doing okay. The others not. This is the same container that I bought it in, and it really needs a bigger container, and I haven't gotten to that yet. This is a volunteer tomato that came up in here, and it is trying to produce tomatoes for me, and it's making more flowers, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it does. My walking onions are walking again, as you could see in that other one too. Here's another bush bean. I got 1 or 2 beans off of it. Okay, down here again, I ripped up all my I harvested out all my sweet potatoes. This marjoram is a cutting from over in the sweet potato patch, which was a cutting from my original plant that I bought last spring. This is one of my seedlings from the nursery. It is a cauliflower purple of Sicily. Now, I put the baskets to prevent the squirrel from digging, but I'm starting to think that the baskets are also preventing the cabbage moths from laying their eggs, because these are just pristine. They're in wonderful shape. This is a collared. Top bunch is what the variety's called. Many of my other brassicas just had all kinds of caterpillar damage. A couple more of my miniature melons. I have a cantaloupe from this vine, one from that vine, and here's as big as this watermelon got. My rosemary I propagated. This is the lantana, called Little Lucky Red. I got 1 flower out of it this year. My calendula is still alive. I may eventually pull it up. It hasn't flowered, so I don't know what I need from it. I harvested the purple cauliflower from this one. This also is coming back from the roots from the one I bought last spring. This cantaloupe didn't do anything. All of this greenery on this climbing bean, a pole bean, it's a Blue Lake. And I got the seeds from a person on eBay. Really, they came out very well. This is all a single bean plant. I've gotten quite a few beans. And there's another one that might be ready to harvest soon. And then I've got my 3 okra plants here. Each of them has a couple of potential fruit growing. We'll see. This bean I planted significantly later. It's not doing great, but it's trying. My walking onions. This is where I grew my cilantro. It's trying to come up again, but it can't make up its mind. Here's my more red vein sorrel. Okay, over here's there's another propagated rosemary. I'm good at propagating rosemary. So this is probably going to end up with lots of zinnias. You'll see these dead-headed zinnias I stuck in here just as some place to put them. And this is, I don't know if these are aphids. I think it's just soil caught all it. No, that's probably aphids. Anyway, yeah, it's not doing great. There's its stem down there. Yeah, so it's not doing great. And this one, that butternut, baby butternut, I don't think it got enough sun. My mums back there are very happy. They like the shade there, and they get some afternoon sun filtered through. My volunteer tomato, actually there's 2 plants growing, and they're just doing very well. They survived me digging up the sweet potato, and now they're just doing okay. So I'm hoping I'll get some more tomatoes out of them before the end of this growing season. I did have some hornworm damage, but I never saw the hornworm, so hopefully a bird got it, or them. My zinnias are still flowering. I have my Swiss chard. This is my oldest Swiss chard. It started in spring of last year. I grew it from seed. I had it in one of those tiny tripods. And look, this zinnia, it threw another offshoot, and it's trying to make another flower. It just cracks me up. And there's flowers budding and blooming and good. Another named tote. This is Beanie, named for You Know Who You Are. And I have a purple of Sicily cauliflower. I have a Desico broccoli. And this beautiful flower here, it's a salvia or a sage, and it's called Friendship Sage. So, Salvia Amistad, Friendship Sage. I just bought it because I love the color of it. It's beautiful. Here's another wildfire lettuce with soil on it, my walking onions. I'm not sure if this is a volunteer tomato or if it's a celery. I did use some of the potting soil that was near the celery that I let go to seed. We'll see about that. Over here I've got Krista and Peg. And Krista has another rosy pak choi. It's very happy here. It gets a lot of morning sun. This is my garlic chives that I purchased. And I don't know which this one is. It's either a cutting from my purple tree collard or it's top bunch collard, which I don't think so because it's got the purple stem. And I thought it might be Desico broccoli, but I don't think it's that either. I realized later it looks a lot like my purple tree collard, so that's what I think it really is. Okay, here I keep it covered because of the cabbage moths. This is the pixie cabbage. It's supposed to create a little cabbage head about the size of a baseball or smaller. And then there's another Swiss chard. And you see the stems from where I harvested yesterday morning. And I've just been harvesting the leaves of the cauliflower. Here's another rosy pak choi. This one is, oh, I don't have a sign on it. But this one is purple of Sicily cauliflower, I'm sure. Walking onions, another wildfire lettuce. Those are snapdragons. That's my dahlia. I cut all the way back. Here is it's called hummingbird mint. And these four are more deer tongue lettuce with volunteer either tomatoes or celeries and one walking onion in each one. This is the container that was, I'm sure, contaminated by weed killer. Now, all of these are seeds I started in the past couple of weeks. I've got mustard from what went to seed in my own garden. I have spinach, which was a package I bought. I have, this one is purple sprouting broccoli from my own garden, harvested. More purple sprouted broccoli because I wasn't sure if they'd be viable, so I put 12 of them, and all 12 of them sprouted. And that's these two. And then I just planted Swiss chard seeds a few days ago. Are they coming up? They are. They're coming up. I planted like 2 or 3 seeds in each cup. And then this, I'm pretty sure it's daikon, but it was a mystery seed, so I'm not sure. These are getting kind of tall, and so I think I'm going to need to drop them in a container somewhere. This is another Agostiki. This one is called Blue Fortune, so it'll be a blue Agostiki. And apparently it's sometimes called hyssop as well. And it makes those trumpet-shaped flowers. Over here, I moved see the overhang? I moved my ginger and my turmeric. These are the ones from that I bought last year. This is lettuce seed I had this tub over on the ground next to where my Winifred tote is. See, I do like having names. Near where my Winifred tote is. And I had some lettuce growing, and it almost went directly to seed. So I sprinkled the seed, and I pulled up, this was my last sweet potato, and I pulled it up and actually spaced out the lettuce seedlings, and they all seem to be surviving. And the tool is there because, again, the squirrel. So here's my hummingbird's lunch, and that's the kind of flower shape that the Agostikis will give me. This is my new ginger. This is my new turmeric. This is my new ginger. And this, my friends, is a dwarf Cavendish banana plant. And it's growing babies. They call them pups. So that's exciting. I have my green broccoli. I have my collard. This is my wildfire lettuce. This is a mushroom plant. Apparently the leaves taste like mushrooms.
I want to try propagating in the house. Apparently you can do that. Another rosy pak choi, more collared. This is purple of Sicily cauliflower. And then these two were, I tried propagating a hummingbird's lunch, and this thing, you may notice, looks like this. It's called a sticky monkey flower, and it makes vibrant red. This one has gone brown, but it makes, again, the trumpet-shaped flowers. This one is a California native. Another one of my rosemary propagations with walking onions. And you'll see I moved it from here because we haven't replaced the gutter, the rain gutter, and so it just pours there. Here's my last green broccoli, another rosy pak choi, which looks like something has gotten to it, maybe, yeah. And then another wildfire lettuce. So, after showing you all of that, I'm going to go back around to the other side of the garden because I want to show you something that I learned just recently. So, when I pulled out all my sweet potatoes, I wanted to use the granary to compost with. And I put a bunch of it in here. And I also used some of it as a compost in place when I set up new totes. Well, do you see this right here? That's a sweet potato. That's sweet potato. This is sweet potato. And this is sweet potato. So apparently I either got some root in this one or the vines decided, hey, we like it here. We're going to grow. And we'll see what happens. I tried to propagate a purple tree collard here, but I think the afternoon sun was just too much. I wasn't thinking. It should have been in the shade. Okay, that's everything. I've been meaning to do this for weeks, and I finally got around to it. So this is my garden. I try to eat a little something from the garden every day. I don't harvest every day, but I do try to eat a little something from the garden. And I may attach a postscript with some of the things I have going on in the house. That's it for now, though. So I mentioned I'd do either a separate or an attachment. So here's some of the tomatoes I've harvested. These still have some ripening to do. So I've got them in the sunny window. If you heard that chirpy sound, that was this hummingbird who was out here. I regrow my green onions. I cut them about this tall, and then I let them sit in here for a week or two. So I just harvested broccoli sprouts radish sprouts and kale sprouts. I emptied those this morning from their canning jars here. And the other things I'm still doing indoors. Bring around. So this is Black Magic Kale, which you can see as I labeled it. I pulled this off of the root in my tote. I'm pretty sure it's the Barb tote. And I snipped this lemon thyme yesterday, and I'm going to try and get it to grow roots and propagate. This is where I had the purple sprouting broccoli, and I left the sign there because it might get more. And I bought a pomegranate, and I, chewed it up, and then I saved the seeds, but I let them get dry. In this one, I had my mustard growing, and I stuck pomegranate seeds freshly eaten. So I honestly don't know if that's a mustard or the pomegranate. I have a feeling it's the pomegranate, but I'm not sure. And then the last thing indoors is over here. I had an itty bitty tiny piece of turmeric, actually smaller than that segment of my little finger. And I put it in here 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5. I had it in one of the seed starting cups, and so I transplanted it this weekend in here. And it's just doing very well. And all of this is new growth. So I may grow turmeric in the house in the winter. And I may try ginger the same way. And since I'm over here, I will show you my planter boxes. My deck planter. And again, save
saving it from the squirrel. So this is a microgreen mix that I bought. As I said, it's a lot of mustard. And then here's my arugula. Yeah, I'm going to find a different way. On the arugula, I soak it overnight and then I pour it in here, but then it clumps because it gets like, it's like chia. It makes kind of a sticky pudding kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm going to let it get a little bit bigger before I harvest any. But then I'll put it in my salads as microgreens. That's all from me today.